Hi, welcome to a special edition of Newly Listed Clip. We like to call this the Renewly Listed Clip. I'm your host, Barrington Miller from the Canadian Securities Exchange. And today I'm here with Mr. Chris Donaldson, CEO of Outback Goldfields. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Barrington. Thanks for having me.
Where in the world are you right now, and where is Outback Goldfields located?
Well, truth be told, I'm on a little island just outside of Vancouver called Galliano Island. But normally, I'm based in Vancouver, and our properties are in Australia, in the Victorian Goldfields.
Victorian Goldfields is a big name that's come up many, many times. If you follow the CSE, you know that the majority of our companies and our issuers are in the mining uh, exploration space. So tell us a little bit about Outback.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a relatively new company, and I came on in October, and we listed on the CSE. And I think it was November of the end of last year. We raised about $11 million, and are starting to do our initial exploration, what we're calling our phase one exploration on our four properties that we have, which are in the Victorian Goldfields, and they're four properties that are in and around a mine called Fosterville. And many of your viewers may know Fosterville because it's the lowest cost and highest margin mine in the world, and quite has a lot of envy to it. So there's a modern day gold rush going on in Victoria because this Fosterville has found a zone called the Swan Zone, where they're now mining at about 50 gram per ton. So we were fortunate enough to acquire our properties from a publicly listed company called Petratherm in Australia. That company had the foresight, or their head geo did, to see what was going on after Fosterville made that discovery in 2016, so 5 years ago, and they started acquiring these properties just before the big rush occurred. So we benefit from a bit of a first mover advantage. It'd be very tough to get these properties at any reasonable price today.
Tell us a little bit about your team.
Yeah, so I mean, we're headed by Craig Perry, and many of your viewers may know Craig. He's a chairman of Vizsla Resources, Skeena Resources. He was one of the founders of NextGen and ISO Energy, and he's involved with a number of others through his company called Inventa Capital, and we're essentially an Inventa Capital company. He's had tremendous success. And of course put together this team. So we've got he's on the board. We have for our stage of company a very experienced board. Oda Halley, our CFO, is with Endeavour Mining and Pan American Silver. Eric Zoncher out of Toronto, very well known analyst, and he came on. So I've added. I have two geologists on the board. I'm not a geologist, so I'm surrounding myself with skill set that I don't necessarily
that's
have.
the way to do it.
Which is good. And we've added Penny Jasky, who's 15 years running community relations for Rio Tinto. So she's running our operations on the ground, and now more than ever, it's important to do things properly right from the get-go. So she's working on that side of things. And then we also have Louis Archambault from Orezone. Many may know him from he was with Gold Corp as a corp dev head, and now he's building a mine in Africa with Orezone. And who's the last one here? I think that's it. There's six of us on there. And so I've got, one of the challenges, Barrington, with what's going on right now is COVID and travel. So I can get to Australia, but I'm have to do a 2-week hard lockdown. So we essentially have two teams. So we have one on the ground, and this was one of my concerns when we started is getting the right people on the ground. We managed to retain the head geo and the one who actually locked up all these properties. So he's running the properties down in Australia. He's built out a team which is headed by a guy named Matt Hernan, who's actually a farmer who lives on one of the tenements. So we have access to good workers down there. It's a mining community. So he previously was with the Ballarat mine and running their exploration programs as well. So I've got a team of about 10 people in Australia, and then I have Chris Leslie up in Vancouver, who is an interesting story. He actually got his PhD down in Tasmania and was working in Victorian Goldfields, had to come back because of COVID. And so he's my geo and our liaison between the two parties down in Australia.
What would investors have to look forward to in the next few months?
Yeah, so I mean, we're just getting going, or we're what 4 or 5 months into our program. So we have, thankfully, we were able to raise $11 million. We plan to deploy about 6 million of that into the ground this year. Our phase one, which will take us to the end of the summer, is about 3 million, and then we'll put about another 3 into the ground afterwards. So we have 4 properties. We're working 3 of them now. We have done a little over 2,000 meters of drilling on one of them and had some pretty good results that we put out. We're still waiting for the balance of those results. We're doing quite a bit of pre-drill work on the other properties. We've been doing some mag surveys and a LiDAR survey, which gives us an idea of the historical workings. And then planning to do some drilling here starting in a couple of weeks, starting with a RAB program. And what we're really focusing on, and maybe I got to step back to talk about the area there. So this is a jurisdiction that has produced 80 million ounces of gold. It started out in the 1850s, made a huge gold rush. The original gold rush made Australia the richest country in the world, and they were mining this big nuggety alluvial gold at or near surface, and then they mined it down to, and they would hit cover, either a basalt cover or a water table, and they stopped. They just didn't have the techniques to go deeper and to explore underground there. So with a modern lens now, prompted by Fosterville's discovery, we're now able to do different techniques to get underground and see where the source of this alluvial gold comes from. So that's what we're looking to do. And there's been a number of companies that have had some pretty good success here recently. I think in our immediate region, there's about 200 million of exploration going in. And you've seen that. You've seen, the knock on the area has been that there's only one Fosterville, but we're now seeing signs that there may be multiple. And we saw that with a company called E79 a month ago. They hit a great discovery, went up 250%. Mandalay Resources doubled overnight on another big discovery as well. So with our exploration program, hopefully we're the ones who get the next big discovery, but certainly all boats rise when any of our peers do as well.
Well, on that note, Chris, I just want to say best of luck to you, and thank the organization, Outback Goldfields, for your continued listing on the Canadian Securities Exchange. I've been your host, Barrington Miller. This has been Chris Donaldson, CEO of Outback Goldfields. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe, and let us know what you think.
Thank you for tuning in to another newly listed on the CSE. Please feel free to hit like and share this content, and hit subscribe if you haven't already.